Not long ago, the divine realmly world held a conference, sending a deity along with a hero to save the other world in a different level. The goddess Restart is a new god, and has led a total of 5 heroes to save other worlds in different levels. When she got chosen again, she learned that this was an S-rank rescue mission. Even experienced gods who had led over 100 heroes are not guaranteed to complete it, since she has already taken the mission. Restart has to find a suitable hero among a bunch of mediocre heroes. She finds one with superb abilities in all aspects. Named Seiya Ryagwin, she immediately lays a summoning array to bring Seiya to the divine realm. Seiya's handsome look impresses Restart, but she doesn't forget her duty, revealing to Seiya that he has been selected to complete the mission of saving the S-class world. However, Seiya is so cautious that he doesn't believe in Restart's words at once. Instead, he keeps asking her questions about the S-class world, like, can he reject to be the hero, or what if he dies in the other world? Restart tries hard to explain to him that he will just resurrect in his own world if he dies. After checking his various abilities on the interface, Seiya reluctantly accepts his new identity as a hero to save the world. However, Seiya also puts forward his own request and starts to take off his clothes. Restart thinks he's going to ask for some perverted requests, but Seiya just wants to do some push-ups, muttering that at least let him get prepared if he has to go. It turns out that Seiya intends to upgrade to a decent level to be well prepared before setting out to such a dangerous world. Until then, does Ritterut realize that the last line of Seiya's profile writes, incredibly cautious. It takes Seiya the whole week to upgrade to level 15. With his strength increasing significantly, he then finally agrees to set out to the S-class world with Restart. In the novice village, Restart gives him a startup fund, with which general heroes will get a set of weaponry, but Seiya buys 3 sets of armor. Being overcautious, he puts one on immediately, leaving the 2 a spare. Luckily, Restart helps him get a set of equipment, but Seiya spends the rest gold coins on buying a variety of healing potions and antidotes. Restart then takes Seiya to kill the world's weakest monster slime near the novice village. Though Seiya has seen through the slime's level and strength being the lowest, he still uses powerful skills. What's more, he worries the slime will resurrect, casting endless skills toward the dead slime. Restart aside is going crazy. What's wrong with this hero? But Seiya is indeed powerful. When Restart intends to persuade him to go to the next town, a female demon from the 4 heavenly kings of the Demon Lord shows up. It turns out that the Demon Lord of the S-class world is not only powerful, but also very intelligent. He predicted the goddess would take the hero to the novice village to get trained, so he sent his powerful henchmen to eliminate the hero at the very beginning. For the heroes in the past, they would try their best to fight back, even they knew they were no match. But Seiya chooses to run away in the first place, leaving the demon and Restart chasing after him. Luckily, Restart opens the door to Divine Realm, through which they escape. Once Seiya steps into Divine Realm, he pushes Restart away and starts an emergent training with the door shut. After seeing the powerful demon, he has an urge to improve his strength. 2 days pass by. However, Restart discovers through the crystal ball that the female demon is in the novice village, threatening to kill a villager every 10 minutes if the hero doesn't show up. Restart panics and asks Seiya to save the villagers, but only to be disappointed to see Seiya being untouched. In fact, Seiya has thought twice that if he is not powerful enough to deal with the demon, the whole world including the village will be destroyed. The good thing is that it doesn't take long for Seiya to complete his training and head to the other world with Restart. When the demon is about to kill the villagers, Seiya shows up in time to save them. The demon soon finds Seiya's strength has surpassed hers across the board. Restart is confident about winning the battle, but didn't expect the demon is also quite cautious. Who has secretly sealed her power? The demon's muscle bulges, and as she stabs her abdomen with a sword, the demon turns into a big bull-headed demon with skill points increasing to be much higher than Seiya. She plans to kill Seiya with one move, but turns out to be easily fended off by him. The female demon then realizes that Seiya has also hidden his strength with skills. Restart unleashes her divine power, piercing through 3 layers of firewalls to finally find out Seiya's skill points, which surpasses the bull-headed demon by a wide margin. It turns out that his strength was at the same level as the demon the first time Seiya confronted her. But as a super cautious hero, he didn't make a move until he has trained himself powerful enough to kill the demon in one hit. The villagers come to thank him, but get shocked stood the next moment. Seiya collects the pieces of the demon and attacks with super powerful flame skill, destroying the village which just survived from the demon. The village chief kneels down to beg this psychotic hero to leave. Afterwards, the rescued villagers show their gratitude by giving Seiya gold coins. Instead of declining it like other heroes, Seiya grabs it and complains it's too little. As Ristart is still speechless aside, Seiya asks her to open the door to Divine Realm. Since the demon of this world is so cautious, Seiya must improve his strength as soon as possible. However, individual training is always limited, so Seiya soon hits a bottleneck. Ristart then recommends he get dual training with the Divine Blade. The Divine Blade takes Seiya as an ordinary hero who he can deal with easily, but it turns out that Seiya has already overall defeated the Divine Blade only 3 days after. The Divine Blade even starts to avoid confronting him. Just then, the great goddess of Divine Realm finds Ristart, revealing that there is a new crisis in the S-Class world. Not long after Seiya defeated the Demon Lord's subordinate, the Demon Lord sends another to capture the next city, where the great goddess has arranged for 2 teammates to wait for Seiya and Ristart to work together on solving the crisis. Since the Divine Blade is useless for Seiya now, Seiya, without hesitation, heads to the city in the other world with Ristart. It is said that an army of ghosts is approaching the city. Their mission is to eliminate the ghosts to quell the crisis. Seiya first goes to buy all the holy water that can purify the ghosts, and then he meets with his teammates in the church. As soon as he enters, Seiya pours the holy water on the priest's head, only to discover that the priest is a spy from the ghosts. Seiya soon defeats the spy, but he doesn't stop his crazy attack until the whole church is ruined. People think Seiya must have seen through the spy's disguise, but it turns out Seiya is just being cautious, since he then pours the holy water on everyone. Afterwards, Seiya sees through the low strength of the 2 teammates, Mash and El Yalu, who were arranged by the great goddess. Therefore, he doesn't want them to be his teammates. Just then, the city's cavalries come to report that the ghosts' army is about to break through the city. They beg for the hero to help eliminate the enemy. Seiya asks for 1,000 gold coins as payment, and then sets out to scout the enemy alone outside the city, leaving his teammates behind. The strength of Seiya once again shocks Ristart. He turns out to acquire the flying skill, though Ristart has her wings. She can't catch up with him, seeing her being slow. Seiya grabs her hand and rushes forward, which almost breaks Ristart's wings. Seiya soon sees the ghosts roaming around in groups, which are arranged by the Demon Lord to frighten the residents. Seiya takes it as a good opportunity to eliminate them all. He uses the meteorite magic to summon a huge meteorite, destroying the whole army of ghosts in one move. Just then, he complains with a tired face that the battle consumed too much of his magic power, and only 95% of it is remained now, which makes Ristart feel like being tricked and get angry at him. After destroying the army of ghosts, Seiya receives his bonus back in the city, and then starts to study the skill of creating weapons. With his excellent comprehension ability, he is soon able to make high-quality weapons with the hair of the goddess Ristart. Just then, a resident sends Seiya a mirror where he sees Mash badly injured. It turns out that Mash went to fight the Ghosts' army alone, but got kidnapped by the Ghost Magician, one of the 4 heavenly kings of the Demon Lord. Though being deadly tortured, Mash doesn't give in because he highly admires Seiya, who defeated the army of ghosts. His bravery gets approved by Seiya, and he decides to keep Mash and his team to carry his luggage. Seiya starts an attack on the mirror, which transcends the space and cuts off the magician's hand. As the furious magician is about to kill him, Seiya orders Ristart to open the door to Divine Realm. The time flow rate between the Divine Realm world and the S-Class world is 100:1. That is to say, 100 seconds have passed in Divine Realm while only 1 second has passed in the S-Class world. This bug allows Seiya to be delivered to where the magician is, with just a few seconds passing in the S-Class world. Seiya then easily saves Mash. Unexpectedly, the Ghost Magician is also very cautious. He predicted that Seiya would come to his teammates' aid, so he summons a magical monster with full resistance points to all attacks. The magician believes Seiya can't defeat the monster unless he masters both ice and fire, as well as physical combat skills. No heroes can possess the 2 conflicting skills, but to the magician's surprise, the monster gets frozen, stood by just 1 punch from Seiya. It turns out that Seiya has already trained himself in fighting enemies with conflicting attributes, so he not only acquires physical combat skills, but also prepares various bracelets with attack attributes attached. The bracelets made from Ristart's hair contain the attributes of ice and fire, as well as brightness and darkness. The ghost magician is completely lost to this cautious hero, Seiya. After witnessing the powerful strength of Seiya, Mash immediately kneels down and worships his master. He reveals that he and Eliulu are from the dragons, and they were summoned by the dragon's cave to take the hero, to get the divine sword in the dragon's cave, to fight against the demon lord. As a cautious hero, Seiya is unsatisfied with his teammates' weak strength. Therefore, they are brought to Divine Realm to get trained. Mash is arranged to be trained by the Divine Blade, who is about to escape when seeing Seiya. But when the Divine Blade knows his trainee is the weak boy Mash, he gains his confidence back, and Eliulu is arranged to learn fire magic from the Goddess of Fire. Goddess Ariadoa recommends Seiya get trained by the Goddess of War, who looks like a yandere Lolita, but it is said that the Goddess of War has a super powerful martial art that can cause damage to enemies through super high-speed attacks. 3 days of training pass by. Mash has his skill attributes double under the Divine Blade's teaching, while Eliulu makes no progress. The Goddess of Fire points out that Eliulu isn't suitable for magic training, which disappoints her a little. Seiya also gets improved from the Goddess of War's training, who turns into an energetic girl. She is so attracted to Seiya's handsome look and powerful strength, showing crazy love for him. Seiya and his teammates get so shocked that they flee to the S-Class world at once. On their way to the Dragon's Cave, they encounter monsters. Mash and Eliulu want to help, but Seiya has already summoned a Firebird that helps them out the way and eliminate low-level monsters. Restart discovers that Seiya has become stronger and intends to see through his attributes, only to get her eyes hurt and swollen by the reflection. It turns out that Seiya acquires the strongest disguise skill to avoid enemies seeing through his real strength, so Restart can't know Seiya's strength either. According to the mark on Mash, they soon arrive at the teleportation altar of the Dragon's Cave. Seiya tests the altar with a lizard to make sure it's safe before they get teleported to the Dragon's Cave. Since Mash and Eliulu do bring the hero, the Dragon Queen gives Mash the skill to transform into a dragon. Eliulu thinks she will get other rewards, but the Queen then reveals that Eliulu needs to sacrifice her life to summon the Divine Sword. The Demon Lord has conquered 70% of the world's land. The Dragon Queen says Eliulu is such a lucky one to be able to sacrifice herself for saving the world, and if she were Eliulu, she would be proud to accept the fate. Though Eliulu doesn't want to accept it indeed, she has no other choice but to brainwash herself that she can finally do something for the world. Restart asks Seiya to comfort Eliulu, but Seiya says there's no need since what Eliulu's fate has been decided. Eliulu cries and runs away. At night, the Queen set up a feast for dedication of Eliulu. The dragon children serve them cookies, and Seiya just takes a random piece. Soon the ritual of summoning the sacred sword begins, and Eliulu is walking to the cliff edge. Though Mash can't bear to see Eliulu sacrifice her life, he is too weak to stop the ritual. Seeing this, Seiya stands forward and eliminates the guards. It turns out that Eliulu's fate that Seiya mentioned is actually to carry the package for him, instead of sacrificing her life to summon the Divine Sword. Seiya never trusts what the Queen said that the Divine Sword can defeat the Demon Lord. The Dragon Queen has also prepared. She added ecstasy to the food of the banquet. So Restart and Mash soon fall to the ground. But she underestimates Seiya's cautiousness. Seiya once again stands in front of Eliulu. It turns out that he didn't swallow the food. The Queen gets so furious that she intends to slay Seiya in the form of dragon. But Seiya has already predicted the battle before he came to the Dragon's Cave. So he made a sword against the dragon with 1 hair of the dragon race Mash and Eliulu, plus 100 hair of Goddess Restart. However, the Queen is even more cautious. She made Eliulu wear a cursed necklace, with which Eliulu will die in 3 minutes. The only way to lift the curse is to kill her. The one who casts the curse, she turned on her strongest defense, and she will win if she can hold on for 3 minutes. But she underestimates Seiya, who takes the acceleration portion and launches fierce attack to her with swords in each of his hand. The Queen soon gets attacked to the edge of the cliff. She opens her wings and intends to fly, but it turns out that her wings have been ruined by Seiya. Thus she falls down the cliff, and the curse gets lifted. The next moment, a sword floats up from the bottom of the cliff. Seiya claims to the people of Dragon that the Dragon Queen sacrificed her life to exchange this divine sword, as the Queen said not long ago that she was willing to sacrifice herself to save the world. And it seems like the Queen has met her wish, so the people of the Dragon can only allow them to leave. Rystart can tell it is not the divine sword, and Seiya also reveals it's just a synthetic sword. Though he is very cautious, he still gives up the powerful weapon that can fight against the Demon Lord for his companion. As they just walk out of the cave, a group of knights has already been waiting for them. It turns out that they are soldiers of the nearby kingdom, which is suffering from the attack of the demon. They come to the dragon's cave to ask for the hero's help. Rystart and Seiya immediately rush over with their companions. When they reach the scene, many huge flies are grabbing the soldiers and throwing them from high to their death. The fly's leader is a humanoid demon in the form of a fly with super high speed. For the moment, Seiya doesn't have a strategy, so he meets with the leader of the knights, Rosalie, first. They intend to have a meeting in the nearby fortress, and Seiya gets to know about Wokes of the world. Who is the most powerful human with his strength equivalent to the hero? But he can't leave the kingdom. Therefore, the demon intends to draw out the hero to eliminate him first. At the meeting, Seiya points out the flaws of their strategy and warns them not to act rashly before they come up with a flawless plan, or there is a high chance that they will lose. Seiya has carefully observed the monsters and learns that he must acquire a skill to restrain their speed. So he decides to go back to Divine Realm to learn the skill from God. According to the ratio of time, there will only be 1 hour passing here if he's in Divine Realm for 3 days. However, Rosalie doesn't want to wait even 1 second. She thought the hero should have been leading the soldiers to fight against the demon, so she angrily calls Seiya a coward. Seiya, however, states that the soldiers were not killed by the demon, but by Rosalie's incompetence and rashness. Her false strategy causes heavy casualties. Rosalie gets furious, intending to attack Seiya, but soon gets a fight back. As Rosalie's face is beaten and swollen, Rystart quickly opens the door and sends Seiya back to Divine Realm. Rystart asks Seiya to find the goddess of archery, whose archery skills are unmatched. She can send out up to 7 arrows in a row within an instant, and nobody can dodge her fast attacks. Thus, Seiya stays to acquire the skills from the goddess. As for Mash and Eliolo, they are under Goddess Ariadoa's instruction. Ariadoa unseals Mash and teaches him new skills of the dragon, while Eliolo also acquires the skills of acceleration and deceleration. Seeing this, Rystart aside can't help claiming that they are able to go back to the S-Class world after Seiya acquires the skill from the goddess of archery, which frightens Ariadoa. It turns out that as a novice goddess, Rystart doesn't know the goddess of archery once broke the laws of Divine Realm and was punished to stay in the forest. She likes to kidnap the heroes and force them to sleep with her, while the heroes are not allowed to have body relations with the goddess in Divine Realm. When Rystart rushes to the forest with Mash and Eliolo, the goddess of archery is hanging herself in the air naked, trying to seduce Seiya. But Seiya gives no reaction to it but hits the goddess's head with an arrow. The goddess finds herself no match for Seiya, starting to set her eyes on the young boy, Mash, at the critical moment. Seiya sends out 5 arrows in a row to keep the goddess pinned on the tree, as the goddess of archery is still saying flirting words with blushed face. Rystart hurriedly takes her companions to leave for the other world. However, when they arrive, Rosalie has already led her soldiers to the demon's den, so Seiya and his companions can only rush to save them. Just when Seiya is about to kill the fly monster with the skill acquired from the goddess of archery in the darkness, Rosalie shows up out of nowhere, declaring war with the demon but getting captured as a hostage. Luckily, Seiya has thought of all kinds of problems he may encounter. He asks Rystart to help stall the demon while he blocks its sight, and then he shoots an arrow that hurts the demon's arm. Thus, Rystart seizes the opportunity to catch Rosalie falling off. The fly demon predicted that Seiya would hide in the clouds to shoot him, and as expected, Seiya shoots 7 arrows in a row that is comparable to the goddess, and no human can ever make it. To everyone's surprise, the demon dodges it. Demons in the S-Class world are also much superior to common demons. As the demon is exultant, he finds a big hole in his body. It turns out that Seiya doesn't believe that nobody can dodge the 7 arrows, so he has changed his arrows into flaming ones that can track the enemy. Thus, the fly demon is totally slayed. After the battle, although Rosalie shows no gratitude to Seiya, she shares information that there is the strongest defensive armor in the nearby village, which is essential equipment to defeat the Demon Lord, because it can resist all of the attacks of the Demon Lord. However, when they arrive at the village, it has been ruined by the demon. Kilkapul, one of the 4 heavenly kings of Demon Lord, has been waiting for the hero here. He claims that the armor has been torn into pieces by the powerful monster he summoned. Kilkapu is so ruthless that he sacrifices the lives of all the villagers as he knows he is no match for Seiya. And then he kills himself in the magic array he sets up, summoning the god of death from the other world, which is immune to all attacks. And all of Seiya's skills are ineffective against him, so they flee to the divine realm to take refuge. But what they did not expect is that the god of death can through the boundary and follows them to the divine realm. Since the god of death is immune to all attacks, even the gods are unable to destroy him. Seiya then thinks of the goddess of destruction, the strongest in the divine realm. He deliberately leads the god of death to the goddess of destruction, who gets bothered by the attacks. As the common attacks put no threats to the god of death, the goddess explodes all her power in a fit of rage, casting the most powerful sealing skills and devouring the god of death in an instant. The next moment, blood erupts from the goddess's body. It turns out that the skill takes the caster's life as a medium. If she is not a goddess, she'll surely be dead, but Seiya doesn't care. All he wants now is to acquire this skill from the goddess of destruction. At the same time, Rishtart is summoned by the great goddess, who tells Rishtart that the S-class world's demon lord has sent the strongest army to the human kingdom, and if they don't take action, the other world will soon be destroyed. So they must hurry to defeat the demon lord. So Rishtart rushes to the residence of the goddess of destruction, but happens to find the goddess riding on Seiya. Naked, Rishtart is envious and accuses them of breaking the rule that heroes and goddesses can't have intimate affairs. The goddess of destruction, however, says Rishtart's thought is nasty. They are just practicing the sealing skill. Rishtart doesn't believe in it and almost cries out. She plucks thousands of hair from her body to help Seiya make his doll. But Seiya turns out to be taken by the goddess of destruction, receiving the doll. Seiya firmly states that there's no affair between him and the goddess. When they get ready to head to the battlefield, the army of the demon lord has reached the gate. The demon lord sends the last of his 4 heavenly kings, but before Seiya can launch an attack, Woks has taken the lead and eliminates the leader of demons in one move, as well as the strong army of the demon lord. Just as everyone is shocked by such strong power, Woks turns into a baby the next second. Seiya finally understands why Woks can't leave the kingdom. Woks' daughter Rosalie shows up and holds Woks away. Since Woks can't talk now, Rosalie receives Seiya and his teammates. Rosalie reveals that Woks is 80 years old and has been fighting for the kingdom for decades. And it's unclear what he encountered the last time he fought with the demon lord that turned him into a baby. Though Rosalie hates Seiya, she hopes he doesn't take her father to the battlefield again. That's why she tells him everything. Seiya soon states that he won't take a useless old man to the battlefield. At this moment, it is reported that the army of the demon lord comes to attack again. Seiya leaves everyone behind to meet the enemies at once. Woks stayed behind, then takes Rishtart to the temple he worked hard to build. He built it in the fantasy of welcoming the god when he becomes the hero, which never comes true after so many years. Woks asks Rishtart why the gods have unlimited life. Before Rishtart answers it, Woks reveals the fact himself. It's because the gods set their souls along with the heroes in the Temple of Time. Where time is stopped, their bodies in the world are more like their doppelgangers. Woks also reveals that there is a magic chain that connects the doppelgangers and the souls of gods. And by destroying the doppelganger, the god will be completely eliminated. The weapon that can kill the god is named Godslayer's sword, created by the demon lord, which is now in Woks' hand. It turns out that Woks has already defected to the demon lord the last time he fought against him, because he worshipped the demon lord's power. Just like a baby obeying its parents, he turned into a baby form. Woks intends to kill Rishtart now. At the critical moment, Seiya comes back. He saves her and kicks her to a safe place. It turns out that Seiya has already made countless speculations, including Woks may defect to the demon lord. Knowing himself no match for Seiya, Woks doesn't panic, because the demon has given him a magic pill that helps him improve combat power just in case. The moment he takes it, Woks becomes decades younger, restoring his peak of strength. Unexpectedly, Seiya is so cautious that before he enters the palace, he has asked El Yalu to cast acceleration magic on him, and he has been wearing a bracelet that increased his own gravity. So after removing it, his speed is further increased. However, Woks is so powerful that for the first time Seiya gets injured and has one of his arms cut off. But Seiya has a strong will except for his cautiousness, though suffering the pain of losing an arm. Seiya cuts off Wox's arm, which holds the Godslayer sword. Without the sword, Wox eventually gets pierced through his body by Seiya, turning into an old man again. Restart hurriedly casts healing magic to put Seiya's arm back. Rosalie also grows up a lot during this incident. She is no longer reckless. Instead, she becomes much more mature after inheriting the throne from her father. The battle leaves Seiya recuperating for several days, and Restart thought Seiya would be regretting and step up his training. However, Seiya says he should rest and entertain himself before training. It is not easy to have a break, so Restart takes Mash and Elyalu to the street to have fun. But when they go back, they find Seiya disappears. Restart looks for everywhere but to find no one. It's a big deal to have the hero disappear. So Restart returns to the Divine Realm, intending to ask the Great Goddess for help and happening to see Ariadoa as well. With a sad expression, Ariadoa brings Restart and the others to the Temple of Time. The Great Goddess reveals that Seiya has gone to Demon Lord's kingdom alone, because he worries the Demon Lord will exterminate the goddess Restart with the magic chain, which will cause the same effect on the heroes. If Seiya gets defeated, he will die in the world and is unable to go back to his world. Restart doesn't understand why Seiya, such a cautious man, will choose to face the Demon Lord alone but not train himself to be strong enough to defeat the Demon Lord. The Great Goddess tells Restart that there's a limit for humans, and all of Seiya's skills and levels have all reached the limit. What's more, he gave up the Divine Sword for Elyalu and didn't get the defensive armor. That's why he wanted to acquire the strongest sealing magic from the Goddess of Destruction, though he knows it will burn his life. But why does Seiya try so hard to protect his companions? Restart asks again. Seeing this, the Great Goddess returns Restart's memory of her past life. It turns out that it's their fate for Restart and Seiya to meet each other. Over 100 years ago, Ariadoa was responsible for saving a world, and the hero she summoned was Seiya, while Restart was also a member of the team. At that time, Seiya was very ebullient and reckless. He had no idea about making strategy but rushed into battles, but with his superior talents he could always cope with different situations. Therefore, his companions totally trusted him. However, after they defeated the final Demon Lord, Seiya didn't make an extra attack, which allowed the Demon Lord who played dead to attack a member of their team and recover his strength. As the whole team had their guards down, they soon got defeated by the Demon Lord. When he was about to eat Restart, he found her pregnant, and the baby's father turned out to be Seiya. Seiya felt desperate, crying and kneeling to beg the Demon Lord to let Restart go. But how would such a cruel Demon Lord satisfy Seiya's hope? The tragedy was set because of the kindness Restart showed when she was alive. She became the goddess of the Divine Realm. Seiya, on the other hand, was reborn in his world, and he took this remorse deeply in his soul. He carved a phrase on his interface: "Be cautious, even if it may be hated by others. But it's a must for saving the world, the partners, and the most important person." That's why when Seiya was summoned as a hero again, he was incredibly cautious of all battles. Even when facing the weakest slimes, Restart cannot hold back any longer when she sees this, and she is determined to go to the kingdom of the Demon Lord City to save her lover, despite the orders of the Great Goddess. But when Restart arrives, a fierce battle has broken out between Seiya and the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord is using the skill that can kill the hero completely, and with much inferior strength, Seiya can only cast the sealing magic acquired from Ariadoa. But as a human, his level of the skill is too low to keep the Demon Lord in the seal. At this moment, Seiya takes out the doll made from Restart's hair, fusing it with his weapon. In the end, he casts the super sealing power that is beyond humans' limit, finally sealing the Demon Lord. However, Seiya also sacrifices his entire life force, while Restart, in spite of the rules of Divine Realm, releases the forbidden magic to unseal all her power and uses a superb healing skill to restore Seiya's health. But just when Restart is overjoyed and hugs Seiya, the Demon Lord breaks the seal. He is going to release all his power to destroy the world. Seeing this, Seiya recklessly rushes up and casts the destructive sealing magic again. The Demon Lord is finally eliminated, but Seiya also reaches his limit, and even Restart's healing magic doesn't work. At the last moment of Seiya's life, he entrusts the future of this world to Mash and Elyalu. Meanwhile, he remembers his past life with a smile on his face. He says, Great, I saved you this time. His body then starts breaking. His life ends. After the crisis, Mash and El Yalu join the Knights of the Kingdom in the other world, while the goddess Ristart returns to the divine realm. Losing her lover makes Ristart lose her vigor and live in sorrow. She is also about to receive a severe punishment for violating the laws of the divine realm. The punishment announced by the great goddess shocks the gods in the divine realm. Ristart is asked to save an SS-class world where the Demon Lord has taken the control. It turns out to be the world that Ristart and Seiya failed to save the first time. What's worse, Ristart is not allowed to use any magic power, including the healing magic. During the adventure, once it fails, Ristart will lose her identity as the goddess. When Restart is in desperation, the great goddess announces that Seiya has resurrected to his world, because when he sealed the Demon King in the S-class world, he happened to seal the Godslayer sword that could kill the hero. And Seiya is the hero that the great goddess arranges for Restart. Restart wipes her tears, ready to save the SS-class world with the cautious hero Seiya. That brings the end of this anime. Seiya's cautiousness seemed to be funny at first, but when the truth is revealed, the more ridiculous his behavior was before, the more touching it is now. Each of his cautious actions contains the most sincere emotion for his companions. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe our channel for more video like this.